Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Secrets of a Witch podcast with me, your favorite witchy person, probably, hopefully, Sabrina Scott. And on this podcast, I talk all about life, love, healing, witchcraft, magic, tarot, mediumship, spirituality. Did I say that? Feminine energy and everything in between. And you probably noticed I've been talking a lot about the tarot lately. I have not really talked too much about it since the podcast launched, but right now I'm talking about it because the best tarot course on the internet, my Tarot Without Bullshit online course, is currently open for enrollment for the first time since February, which is pretty exciting. And so as a way to celebrate the launch, and this is actually the last time I'm going to be launching it in this exact way. So anyway, I'm not going to bore you guys by talking about all my future plans with all of that, but right now the launch is a little bit special, right? Because I don't do these launches very often, and this is the last time I'm actually offering the group coaching component with this course in the way that I am offering it at the moment. So anyway, enough about that. But if you do want to check out the course, sabrinamscott.com/TWOBS. That is TWOBS. The link will be in the description of this episode. If you are lost, feel free to send me a DM, Sabrina M. Scott, on Instagram, and I will help you out and answer all your questions. But for today, I want to talk about the top 3 tarot mistakes that I see tarot readers make. Weirdly, I've seen both professional tarot readers make these mistakes as well as total newbies. And part of the reason why I'd started to jump into teaching tarot is because the most tarot readers kind of suck, right? You guys will know this if you've paid for readings before, and also probably if you've read for yourself and you've found your own readings useless and shitty. And I think oftentimes these big-ass mistakes are the reason why people's readings are crap and not useful. And so as a way of combating these mistakes, I created my Tarot Without Bullshit course. But I'm going to tell you guys in today's episode what these top 3 big-ass mistakes are. They are not little-ass mistakes, my friends. They are big-ass mistakes. And chances are, if you are feeling a bit bleh about your own tarot readings, chances are that you've been doing at least one of these super common slip-ups, and they're probably holding you back from moving your tarot skills and your tarot readings up into the next level, right? So let me just dive in. So mistake number 1, choosing the wrong deck. So this one is huge. I see it all the time when I teach tarot and when I consult with and mentor new learners to help them improve what they're doing. So keen, excited people often choose a deck whose imagery does not make sense without deeper tarot knowledge. And then I've seen so many people blame themselves for their inability to decipher what the fuck the deck is trying to say, what the imagery on the cards means. And so obviously this is a massive recipe for disaster, confused readings, and a massive hit to newbie tarot readers' already fragile self-confidence. I've seen this happen so many times, it breaks my heart. I just want to give people a big hug. And I get it. There's so many absolutely gorgeous tarot decks out there. Trust me, I know. I own a ton of them myself, even though I don't always post them on the internet. I have way too many tarot decks. But unfortunately, not all decks are very helpful when you're learning to get good and solid with your tarot skills. They can be really, really nice to jump off on once we do have that solid foundation, but not before that. Then it can just fuck us up. And so often deck creators, bless their hearts, are motivated more by aesthetics and creating gorgeous imagery. As an artist, I do appreciate that. But as a tarot reader, that can be a bit brutal because they're more motivated by making beautiful images than by accurately and effectively depicting and communicating the essence of what a particular card is all about. So many deck creators just don't know that much about the tarot. Like they like the idea of it and the symbolism of it, but they don't actually know anything about the tarot. And that can be great if you're just collecting the tarot as art. That's okay, but if you want to actually read with it, it can be a little bit hairy, right? So over the years, as witchy stuff and tarot has become more sexy in the mainstream, more and more deck creators just see it as a fun money-making opportunity or like the clout, and don't really do much research on what the cards actually are before they start to create their decks. And unfortunately, that can lead to tarot learners blaming themselves for not being able to understand the cards. But often the cards are objectively confusing and often inaccurate in the first place and don't make any sense. And my cat agrees. And so ideally, as we learn, we would like to move away from memorization. And the way that I teach, there's no memorization involved at all. We like to move away from that and towards having a more intuitive understanding of the cards based on what we see in the cards. And so intelligent, clear illustration can help us move away from the desire or the habit to memorize and then regurgitate what it is we just memorized, right? Thank you, Awas. She agrees. And so instead of going for something really abstract or funky, if you're a new reader or having difficulty with your tarot readings despite trying for years, I really do just recommend going back to basics. I know everyone's going to hate me for this, but the Rider-Waite-Smith. That's the deck that I still read with every single day. Not a variation, just the classic deck itself. I love this deck. I love teaching with it because the imagery in each card is so clear. And even if you don't know a damn thing about the tarot, there's so much symbolism, gesture, color to help even the novice, total newbie tarot reader tease out card meanings with more ease. Sometimes in order to expand and be prepared to go out on a limb, we need to get a good handle on our roots first. And the Rider-Waite-Smith is a great deck to help us with that. I remember years and years ago when I first started reading tarot professionally, the person I was dating at the time did not give a single shit about anything spiritual. And so sometimes just for laughs, I would pull out the Rider-Waite-Smith and be like, pop quiz, what do you think this card means? And hilariously, he would just kind of intuitively babble and say something random based on what he saw. And his readings were actually pretty good in terms of what does that card mean? What is the essence of that card with no context? And it's possible to do that with the Rider-Waite-Smith. It is not possible to do that with every deck. So pick it up. So many different decks are based on the Rider-Waite-Smith and the way it's organized and the way it's interprets everything. I get into all the history of that, not all the history, but some of the stuff around the Rider-Waite-Smith in my course, so I won't get into it now, but just leave it to say it's important and will be a huge learning tool for you, even if you hate the art. Please just trust me on that. So mistake number 2, being generic. Oh my God, this one probably bothers me the most. So often tarot readers, especially newbies, bless your heart if you're a newbie, I don't hate you, I love you, but a lot of new people do make a lot of mistakes, right, with tarot. And so a lot of the time, newbies are afraid to be wrong in their interpretation. And I've seen this even when people have been trying to read for a decade, but they still haven't got that level of skill. There's that fear, right? The fear of being wrong. And so a common way I see people coping with this fear of being wrong and trying to hide their inexperience, their confusion, or their just ignorance of what the card means is through using incredibly generic, boring, vague language in their readings, right? Because it's hard to argue with. And so I would like all tarot readers to remove the words abundance and prosperity from y'all's vocabularies. Especially if you're new, especially if you're using those words because you don't know what else to say, especially if that's the extent of your interpretation of a card which alludes to these qualities. And so these types of words might be nice to hear. They might be comforting, right? I see love in your future. It's what does that mean? What does it mean? No one knows. It can mean anything. right? And so these types of phrases are so cliche, they're generic, they're vague, and they're also incredibly hard to either prove or disprove, right? So if it's vague and non-specific and it doesn't really mean anything, don't say it. I know, it's tough. It's not useful to anyone. It's not useful to you. It's not useful for whoever you're reading for, and maybe that's you as well. Everyone's just going to be even more confused than how they felt to start with. And the tarot is really not about that. We don't want that. We don't want to be confused. We want to feel a little bit more grounded. We want to have more clarity, and we want to have a direction. You know, everyone has some kind of love in their future, whether that's from family, a sexy lover, a romantic partner, our best friend, or even from our cat, or in my case, many cats, or even from ourselves, right? Self-love counts. And so the tarot reader that says there's love in your future, that's like just not very useful, right? It's like not useless. It's just useless. It doesn't really tell us anything. And so any good, effective, talented, developed, useful tarot reader would never ground a reading in just something so vague, right? So instead of saying that you see prosperity, point out, where do you see that and why? What is it about the card that makes you think that and interpret it that way? Is it around work, income, and career expansion? Or is it really just about finding abundance in, you know, the deeply felt roots in your community? Or maybe you're establishing roots in a new workplace or in a new family, or maybe you moved somewhere new and you're just starting to get to know people, right? There's always enough information in the card itself to let you know how to interpret it. You just have to be courageous and confident. Is the figure alone or with others? Are they surrounded by pentacles, aka coins, or by plants? Each of these visuals is distinct and specific. And so the meanings are different and specific, even if it's all within that earthy realm of pentacles and coins. And so instead of being vague, be fearless, specific, and direct. And yes, that does require courage, right? It does. So commit to a specific interpretation and stick to it. It's better to commit to your impression and be wrong as you learn than to not have enough trust in your impressions to even write it down or say it out loud to your own self by yourself, right? So mistake number 3, relying on memorization. We hate memorization up in here. So this might seem a little counterintuitive, since I would recommend that everyone who reads tarot become familiar with at least basic numerological symbolism, as well as symbolism around the different suits, the elements each suit is associated with, and why. Yes, I know that base is important, but memorizing all of that shit does not a good tarot reader make, my friends. So if you've got a paragraph in your head memorized about what the Two of Pentacles means, and you rely almost entirely on that, or the little blurb in the tarot book, it is not going to help you read that one card for a variety of situations. All your readings will just make no sense. The Two of Pentacles, for instance, is a card that I read very, very, very differently depending on the context, right? Has the card been pulled to represent one of two choices? Or is it an advice card which depicts the best next actions to take in a situation? Is it in a reading about love and romance? Or is it a reading about jobs and your career? Or even more random, was it pulled in a reading about connecting more to your spirituality? Same card, so many different paths and implications, all rooted in the card's core meaning and spoken through the lens of the deck itself. So memorizing also doesn't make room for how each deck has a slightly different take on each card, with illustrations that may minimize or expand certain aspects of the card's meaning. So if you start by relying only on memorization, that's going to end up biting you in the ass, especially as you seek to deepen your practice and expand into reading with more and more and more decks. So instead of doing that, honestly, what I would recommend is to get to know the cards on a spiritual, intuitive level. Let them speak to you. They are beings with their own energy. Tarot cards are friends, right? Our readings always improve when we take a moment to connect with the spirit of our tarot deck and allow our interpretations to be inspired by a deeper energetic understanding of the cards. And that can only happen when we throw the little white book or our impulse to check the internet out the window. So I hope that was helpful, my friends. I'm curious, how many of these mistakes are you guilty of? Please do let me know. I'm pretty curious. And I promise you, if you stop doing even one of these things, your tarot readings are going to get a bazillion times better. And if they don't, feel free to just come yell at me on the internet. And while I can promise that switching up these things will radically transform your tarot practice, ultimately it's just a start, right? This is really just the tip of the iceberg. And so if I can transform your tarot practice this much with this quick little podcast episode by calling you out on your shit, you better believe you'll learn even more about the tarot that will blow your mind even more in my Tarot Without Bullshit online course, which is currently open for enrollment. You can check it all out at sabrinamscott.com/TWOBS. Again, that is sabrinamscott.com/TWOBS. If you are lost, feel free to send me an email, ceo@sabrinamscott.com, or do the little form thing on my website, sabrinamscott.com, or say hello on Instagram, Sabrina M. Scott. Just send me a DM, and I'm happy to help answer your questions, send you any links if you can't find it, whatever. Happy to help you figure out how to make this course work for you, because I do actually think it is the best tarot course online. I've never seen anything better. I have had people take this course and then take other courses and then come back to me and be like, yep, I don't know why I did that. That was a mistake. Yours was the best. And now I feel dumb. And it's like, yep, well, yeah, told you guys. And so I'm not just saying that. This really is the best tarot course online. It is true. It is true, my friends. And so I'm happy to figure out a way to make this course work for you if you find it's a little bit out of your budget right now. It's not that much, actually. It's just as much as a cup of coffee a day. It's really affordable, I think, actually, if you look at it that way. But if you are in tight times and you need a stretched out payment plan, let me know. I'm more than happy to make that happen for you. I've done it before. Not a problem at all. Okay, friends, that's it for now. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in my Tarot Without Bullshit online course, sabrinamscott.com/TWOBS. Chat soon. Bye.